All right, welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. Man, the hair's looking okay. Could be better, but it is Monday after all. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Welcome in. We got a jam-packed show for you today. Well, first, I know you're looking at the headlines here. There is some Ravens news that we'll dive into. Apparently, someone's staying put on the coaching staff who was a head coach candidate. Todd Monken, allegedly, is being extended in Baltimore, but we will recap the championship game weekend. One great game, Chiefs and Bills down to the wire. The other one was a blowout and a rout. Entertaining game, but Eagles and Chiefs move on. We'll dive into that. RG3 spoke on the rise of the Commanders and maybe if they'd be in that same position if things hadn't changed in ownership. And Damian Woody talking about dynasties because let's make no mistake, the Chiefs, they're in that territory going for the third straight Super Bowl here on the season. And then we'll continue on with some baseball conversations. We have our polls. We have our browsing history with Zach. But there is some baseball news, and the stove's kind of brewing. And there's a pitcher that we didn't know that is available or didn't think was available. Now he is. Could the Orioles and many other teams be interested? And what is happening with Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman? All of that and more. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We almost got a full house in here. We got Brad behind the what the hell is that? The table?
This is the table.
The table.
This is the command center.
There we go. The command center. And then at the tables, we got Kevin and Zach.
How's it going?
Kids?
I will say, just, a little precursor to the conversation of Sunday football. Even though the Commanders game, it wasn't especially after the second quarter, if you knew where the game was going, that was a very fun game.
Yeah.
That was just the
first half was very fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I enjoyed that. I thought it was a very good. We've had some dud championship Sundays in the past where you felt like going in, you knew the outcome, and you felt that way going into the Eagles game still, but it was an enjoyable game to watch.
If you're a Commanders fan, you have to still be this was an incredible year.
You cannot
100%
cannot be upset.
You
about
cannot.
This year.
I've seen some Commanders fans, online and stuff, being like, "This is the worst feeling ever," and it's I understand because we were just there a week ago. It sucks even when there aren't expectations. Losing sucks when your season's over. It sucks, but there is nothing to be ashamed of if you're a Commanders fan.
They could have
lost
they could have lost by 100, and I'd still be over the moon.
Yeah. Just NFC Championship. A year after, they were 10 months ago, they were picking number 2.
Yeah.
Now NFC Championship. What a turnaround.
They have a lot of room to grow too. They have a lot of cap space.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's fun.
It's they got $60 million in cap space, something like
Could
that.
be even more than that. I think bright future ahead.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money that we have, to be honest here. So, hey, look, it was a fun conference weekend. And for some, more fun than others, the Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl. I mean, I think that we all kind of felt that coming. But let's do the Commanders-Eagles game a little bit more in depth. Philly roster-wise, and we talked about Jason Kelsey's comments on the last show, Zach. I mean, he was right. They were better at every level. Even Jalen Hurts, which I hated when we talked about it, Zach, that the dude just gets roasted.
Yeah.
For all the reasons, carried by his team, good offensive line, playmakers. Jalen Hurts is going to his second Super Bowl in 3 years.
Yeah.
He looked great in this game. He made the throws. Now, A.J. Brown looked pretty damn good too. Woo. Saquon Barkley housing some. But they did what they had to do. He played clean football. And on the other side of it, the Commanders, they weren't clean. And they had a chance. And what was the biggest issue, Zach? Because you're throwing your hands up.
Yeah.
What'd they do?
It was the untimely turnovers and the stupid penalties, and it just felt like I got the flashbacks.
Yeah.
I was watching it, and it would be oh, they got off the field. Late hit out of bounds on the running back. I'm like, what are we doing here? It just was time after time. Okay, hey, held them here. Massive. You stopped them, the tush push on the 2-point conversion. It's now a 6-point game or a 7-point game. You're feeling great, kept it one possession. You fumble the kickoff. Yeah. It just felt like you were sitting there and you were like, this is a game. And then the Commanders were like, not so fast, my friend. And it was tough to watch, but like we said, Commanders can't hang their head.
That's kind of the theme of this playoff series on both NFC, AFC. It's whoever played the cleanest ball has been winning the games.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obvious. I know it's kind of a no shit Captain Obvious kind of statement, but truly, except for the Chiefs. You know,
I was going to say,
you
they
don't have
lost
to.
the turnover battle.
Yeah,
They did.
Oh,
Only team this year to do that and
Ricky?
win in the playoffs. Of course it is.
how about that? And there's some controversial
Of course
calls
it
in that
is.
game too, wasn't there? Some
And they
pretty-
scored over 30 points.
some game defining calls that
Wait, in the Chiefs game? No
could
way.
have determined the
No
outcome there.
way.
Rip won't tell you that, but I'll tell you that.
Hey, I'll just say this. We'll talk about that game. I'm not saying that there weren't controversial calls in that game. There certainly were.
Game altering controversial call.
I'll say this, though, of all that, you know what? I'm going to save my comments for that because I want to finish this conversation with the Eagles, okay? The Eagles, their roster. And also, shout out the Eagles, by the way, that everyone wanted Nick Sirianni canned early in the season.
Crazy.
He
I'll
is.
put it up.
Yeah.
Right there.
After week 3, we did a who's the first coach to be fired.
I wanted him gone in the offseason. I said they should have fired him in the offseason.
If you're going to make a change, fire him now and then look at this. But ironically,
Man.
the two teams that met, the Commanders and the Eagles, new coaching staff with the Commanders, the Eagles stay put, and Kellen Moore and
We
the
shit on
offense.
both of those.
I was
moves.
just about to say, like, Nick Sirianni should just be up on the press on his press conferences and just be like, "Fuck all of
Oh,
you."
you know,
Literally.
he'll do it. He'll do it.
Oh, if they win the Super Bowl, he's going to.
and then turn around to the fans and do the same exact thing.
This is the worst part of this Super Bowl is we have to either see Sirianni or Mahomes hoist the Lombardi, I'll put it the other way. We have to watch Sirianni or Travis Kelce hoist the
No, give me
Lombardi.
Saquon. That's who I'm voting. Like pulling for.
Oh, that's
this
who I
game.
want to win.
Give me
If
Saquon.
we can stop the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift proposal on national television,
Yes.
Oh, after the three-peat.
with the confetti falling.
I already got the tweet
It's-
in my drafts.
Hey, you know what?
Of course you do. Of
Oh,
course you do.
It's
Yeah.
already sitting there.
Shocker.
It just says no way the Chiefs four-peat.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Never say never anymore. And you know what? Let Travis and Taylor, if they love, let them love, man. Okay. But in this case, hey, I'm a romantic at heart. All right. I'm a romantic at heart. But in this case, there was not any love lost, though. Going back to love with Philly and Sirianni and that group.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they weathered the storm. That's a tough market to weather. And they're going back to the Super Bowl, and their roster is built. I mean, look, you lose Jason Kelce as your anchor center. Juergens becomes an all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber player. Saquon Barkley joins your team. You thought that you already had a good team. He took it to a whole different level, the playmaking ability. And then the defense for Philadelphia. Vic Fangio comes in there, and they're a completely different unit. Yes, they added some pieces, but shout out to them. But it takes nothing away from the Commanders, who for the second straight year, the second overall pick was a quarterback. C.J. Stroud last year, Jaden Daniels this year. Stroud and the Texans win a playoff game, fall to Baltimore. Commanders go all the way to the championship game, and they lose. Yeah, I don't care that it ended up being a rout. They dethroned the number one team in the NFC in the Lions pretty emphatically, winning by double digits. And you go on the road to Tampa Bay and win on a last-second field goal. It was an unbelievable year filled with so many moments. That team has so much upside that nothing can be taken away from them on that. And I'll say this, it was tough seeing the Commanders. I'm happy for them. That hurt watching that Baltimore down the road wasn't in it. But for Commanders fans, they have waited decades for that moment. And I think it leads into the first conversation. RG3 was talking about this with Kay Adams on the Up and Adams show. And just saying, RG3, say the ownership stayed, but they still had the second pick. And Jaden Daniels was there. Would this have all been possible? And, RG3 made it very clear and very blunt about how he felt it would have gone. So let's play that clip.
Was still in place, and they did draft Jaden Daniels. Would they be in the NFC Championship game?
No.
Why?
I
guess I'm trying to understand the cultural.
Hey, you were
part of it.
digging today. Now you're digging. It's listen, Jaden's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. That was the second pick in the draft. There's a lot of parallels there between myself and him. Both athletic quarterbacks, took the league by storm my rookie years, and the difference is moving forward for Jaden. You can catch lightning in a bottle for 1 year, no matter how dysfunctional you are. I've been on many teams that were very dysfunctional that won conference, not conference championships, but won their division. When we won our division in 2012, our team was one of the most dysfunctional ever. I just didn't know about it because I did not know what I didn't know. And for Jaden, he doesn't have a GM, an owner, a head coach, or an offensive coordinator that are feuding. These guys all have a singular vision of him being successful, and they don't care who gets the credit. And that, to me, has been the greatest thing for Jaden, because going into this offseason, one, he's not injured. And then two, they're going to be able to build more around him with massive cap space. When I was there in 2012, we had no cap space in 2013. And we had all those things that were going on. And I think when you have a dark cloud around your organization, or you have things that is infighting, it only hurts your young quarterback. Jaden Daniels doesn't have that. Josh Harris, Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and Cliff Kingsbury, they all want this guy to be successful. It's not your guy versus our guy. This is our guy. This is his city. And to me, that's going to lead to them being successful for the next 10 to 15 years. And I couldn't be happier for them.
So the quick answer was nah.
Yeah.
And then, just no, not a chance. But I'm glad he gave that description. And we've talked about this extensively. And the big thing that I wanted people to emphasize, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the foundation and the culture set within your organization, you're screwed. And that's all across sports. But if you want to look at the best run organizations, the team that have the most success, heck, you might not like the Chiefs. We'll talk about them next. Look at that infrastructure, their coaching staff, their players, from the top up from their organization all the way down. There's a sense of continuity and belief that allows for everything to go. Washington, RG3 said that they're right. We saw all the reports that came out after RG3's departure. Issues with coaches, issues with the owner and the coaching staff and players. But then also the players didn't feel like there was a bought-in belief that they could go out and win. And in an instant, you bring in a guy that is leader of men in Dan Quinn. You bring in an offensive coordinator that says, we're drafting this guy. I'm going to help him develop. And you know what? We're in it together, good or bad. And they go on this wonderful ride for the Commanders. And now you saw that cap space that was thrown up. Brad, you mentioned it too. They are set up to be a force. Yeah. Now they got to walk the walk again, but they are set up. And that does not happen if they don't completely change everything and Dan Snyder doesn't sell the team.
I was going to ask, this is bar set really high for Jaden Daniels' first season. And we saw CJ Stroud take a little bit of a step back. So I guess expectations are high. It's very fresh as far as the NFC Championship is concerned. But where should expectations be for the Commanders next year? Like
Super Bowl.
Is Jaden Daniels? Yeah, but okay. But you have so much other competition. I mean, the Lions weren't healthy. If they're healthy next year, like that's going to be something to look at too. So I'm just trying to is the Super Bowl now the standard for the Commanders moving forward because they made an NFC Championship game, or is there any sort of wiggle room there because it was Jaden Daniels' first season?
I don't think it's necessarily that's the standard, but I think that is the goal. Whereas this playoffs, I feel like they were very much playing with house money, where it's like we were talking about, they got pretty much blown out yesterday, and everyone's still like, incredible last year. Awesome. You guys accomplished so much. If they make it back to the NFC Championship, if they make it back to the divisional round, it's a success because it's a second-year quarterback on a young team. So that's still a success. But I think they're now their goal, whereas, as much as they'll tell you going into down the stretch run that they're like, no, our goal is to win the Super Bowl. They understood the expectation was we're probably not. But I think then it's, if you use the cap space correctly and you build around that and you put out a better team, now the goal is, okay, we have a legit chance to put a Super Bowl team out there. Doesn't mean that it's Super Bowl or bust. Yeah. But I think now you have serious conversations about, this team is in that upper echelon of, they can do it.
Right. Now I think that they have tasted the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Anything less than that will be viewed by the fans as a disappointment because it is a literal step back. But I agree with Zach where it's like, it shouldn't be the standard here because Jaden's going into his second season and there is a lot of wiggle room with this team. They're going to have years to compete for years to come. But I just feel like the way the NFL has gone, if there's not a step forward, it's viewed as a massive step back. And so if Jaden Daniels loses in the divisional round, they run into a good matchup, it's a close game, and Jaden plays well, everybody's going to say, well, they made the championship game last year and now they didn't make it that far. So it's a failure. I don't think that's the conversation we should be having, especially for a second-year guy. So I think Super Bowl is great, but they don't have to get there now. They have a long way to go.
And like Brad, you said, the Lions were extremely banged up this year. If they go out next year and they lose to the Lions in the divisional round, no one's going to sit there and go, this season's a failure.
But that's how people view it. And honestly, quite frankly here, as the years keep rising and you don't get to that Super Bowl, because we'll go to the quarterback in Baltimore, talk about a quarterback that took the NFL by storm when he really took over the job fully in 2019. When Lamar took over in 18, low expectations. They end up winning the division, fall to the Chargers. But it was like, okay, first year. Then they dominate everybody. And then they had that game against Tennessee. And that no matter what, going back there, winning a playoff game isn't satisfactory anymore. Jaden Daniels' expectation level is he's been being put in the category as a top 5 quarterback. So I think the expectation for Jaden is going to rise, and the success of how the team goes is going to then further predicate to what it is. Whether that's fair or not, Kev, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I also think with the cap space conversation, like obviously their defense was not up to snuff this season, and they need to improve. They need to get some guys around Terry McLaurin in that offense too. If they go out there and they spend all this money, they get like a 1A next to Terry. They go out there and just completely revamp and upgrade that defense. Yes, running back, that's a good one too. If they do all of that, and you look at the team on paper and you say, wow, this is so much better than they were at. And look, I think it's not a miracle because Jaden did a great job, but like that roster they had serious flaws and they still were able to get to the championship game. So if they don't get there next season with a better, well-rounded roster, that conversation becomes, well, they spent all the money and they did all this, but why can't they get there? This was a failure, which again is just the way that NFL discourse runs these days.
My favorite tweet from yesterday was Commanders really brought Brian Robinson to a Saquon Barkley fight. It talks about, just how good that team for Philly is. They were like Jason. I still think, overall, Jaden Daniels is probably, I would put him above Hurts. Obviously Hurts does an incredible job with what he has and just so much talent around him, but Philly's just top to bottom was so much better.
Yeah. And look, actually, and shout out Philly, where for a team roster wise,
beautiful, they
were unbelievable. And we've talked about teams where you looked at it and go, this team's a better roster than that team. But that team doesn't always win, right?
We know all about that.
And Philly did it. They really ran the table. Besides that one game against the Commanders, which Jalen got knocked out, they ran the table. And they proved that they had the best roster, and they proved that they deserved to go on to represent the NFC. And I do like this point from Jerry Royce here to close out this part of the conversation. And this is going to help the Commanders next year. The deal breaker is that you need good coaching around for your stars to shine, and mentioning that the Kansas City staff isn't going anywhere for years. The continuity of having Spags as your defensive coordinator and having Andy Reid, who's your offensive guru, that helps. And obviously helps that you have Patrick Mahomes. But for next year, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Cliff Kingsbury's, he's back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Dan Quinn's going to be back, right? Their defensive coordinator, back. So that continuity within your organization helps. The Lions, that certainly helped with them retaining Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson for the 2024 season. Now they're gone. What does that look like for the Lions? So that plays in the favor of the Commanders, but one hell of a year and one hell of a turnaround. And that's obviously what you can hope for if you are looking for hope. The definition of hope is what the Commanders were to the whole DMV area. So shout out to them. Great year. Eagles move on, and we're going to move on to the AFC side of it. And while we take that move, why don't we take a quick trip on our Adams Jeep to the AFC Championship game. And Adams Jeep, our OG sponsor, up in Aberdeen. And Zach, over or under 7 seconds that this video pops up. Under 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
I was going to say,
there it is.
Did we get a reset on the shot clock?
We got the reset.
That was a long count.
I don't
reset the play clock.
I don't know, Jim. I think the clock was right. But Adams Jeep of Maryland up in Aberdeen, 5 minutes from the Ironbird Stadium. Hey, look, you are in the market for a new or a used car. Go check them out, or check out adamsjeepofmaryland.com and check out what you're looking for. Price point, model. you can pick the price range you're comfortable with, lock it in there and see what is available there. They also, you can get your car customized, get it fixed up there. And Brad and I, we've been using those services, and we thank them for that. But if you go up there and you buy a new or used car and use the phrase, I love the Ryan Ripken Show, or Rocco sucks, tell Chuck and Matt, and they will add $1,000 in gas money onto your purchase of said vehicle. So Adams Jeep of Maryland, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for all that you do. So now that we've made our trip to the AFC, one hell of a game, guys. It really was. Bills, Chiefs. I know there could be some controversy, but as far as the game, it was a great game. And for a moment, guys, I had the feeling Josh Allen and the Chiefs, or the Bills stopped the Chiefs, and with 3 minutes to go, Josh Allen had the ball going down the field. For a moment, you felt like, would this be it? That they're going to take it. Josh Allen even picks up that first down, and then they're moving. Okay, they're at least going to tie this game. Yeah. Then the drive starts to stall out, right? And then on 4th and 5 or whatever it was, and Steve Spagnuolo draws up a corner blitz that they hadn't shown all game, and then Josh still gets the throw off, and Dalton Kincaid can't bring it down. And then the Chiefs run 2 plays they hadn't run all game. Samaje Perine gets his only touch of the game that seals it. And once again, Kansas City is going back to the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight year, 4th in the last 5 seasons. Mm-hmm. And you're sitting here going, man, is that just how the script was written? Sure, Brad, I know, controversial calls. I thought the Josh Allen push, I thought that was a first down.
Yep.
That was, yeah.
I thought that I was shocked. I was shocked that the one line judge and the other line judge were so far off.
Yeah.
And that they moved it even to a more favorable spot for Kansas City. Yes, you can say the jump ball catch, no catch was interesting. I get it. But needless to say, the Bills still were sitting there with a shot. Yeah. Out of all of that, they still had a shot. And talking about the turnover battle, yeah, Josh Allen could have had 2 turnovers on the first drive.
7 turnover worthy plays. And that's the difference is, if you look at the stat sheet, it's going to say that Kansas City lost the turnover battle, but man, did Buffalo try. Buffalo tried so much. There were just so many opportunities of strip sacks that Buffalo fell on top of, interception after interception drop, giving me flashbacks of Cleveland. It just felt like all game the Bills were like, hey, here's your big turnover to blow this thing open. And then the Chiefs were like, no, we're going to keep this thing close. And at the end, Rip, you put it perfectly. All the controversy, all the calls, all the did he get it, did he not? Josh Allen got the ball back with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left. 3 timeouts? And he couldn't even get 2 first downs.
It's about don't put yourself in position to lose the game because of the refs.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying the calls were good. I'm not saying they were good.
Brad, how would you think about the calls?
Brad loved the calls.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. Like, look, it wasn't a catch. And I know there was defensive holding. Okay, fine. But then the ball wouldn't be on the 3-yard line. Yep. And when you got Gene Steratore on national television telling you that it wasn't a catch, he also said, by the way, that that 4th down should have been converted into a first down. So you have former professional referees telling you, as New York is also watching these these reviews, that these should not be the call. So, it was pretty clear that football had hit the ground. I don't think that it should have been an interception. I don't think it should have been a reception. I think it should have just been an incomplete call or incomplete pass. It should have been a first down conversion. These were game-altering calls that were clear to me and to the rest of the world. And here we are again, sending off the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. They're going to win again because, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think it's bullshit that people say that it's scripted, it's rigged. How do you refute that after watching this game and the last game against the Houston Texans? It's bullshit.
Can we have a conversation? What is a blended clock, and who had heard of that? Who had heard of that before yesterday?
Okay, I lost my mind over that because I was like, oh, the Bills lucked out. The the clock is, the play clock's before, so they're going to have to run another play. And then it was like, literally, it felt like everyone like paused for a second, even in the broadcast. And then they were like, okay, so we're hearing it's a blended clock. We're just going to let the Chiefs get the 2 minutes.
Where?
I was like,
and how were the Chiefs the only team to know about it, apparently? Because if they didn't know, they'd be snapping that thing at 2:01 with the clock as it was. But
a blended clock.
We're just introducing rules that nobody knows about in this game. Like,
if it's under a second, I was like,
that has never been never been a thing.
I was like, are we also? I'm surprised that they didn't just do what they were going to do in the Eagles game. They're like, we're awarding the Chiefs a touchdown here.
Well, and the blended phrasing, that is a new phrase to me. But I do understand if you're a delay a game and it's within 1 second, under 1 second. But you're right. It's a moment that people focus on. And the reason why people are focusing on this is that the Chiefs continue to find a way to win, right? If they weren't going to the Super Bowl, the conversations would have dampened over time. Like they would have. But here we are. They're doing it again. But the other thing, because you guys know, I don't like to dwell so much on calls. I agree that there are some things that you sit there and go, damn, I don't agree with that. But I really can't think of a team ever, guys, that think about all the opportunities when, say, there was a missed call. And sometimes a team cashes in and they go, oh, man, that was a blown call and it changed the game. But how many times have we seen a team get the call, get the break, and then not capitalize on it? Yeah. It seems like every single time the Chiefs get a chance, they capitalize on it. In the other case, how about this? Buffalo had an extra point, and it was an offsides on the Chiefs, and they decided to go for it from the 1. And then they get stopped at the 1 yard line. Yeah. So that was a play in the favor for Buffalo. And the Bills were like, we're going for 2. We're going to take the opportunity. And that backfired. That was a hell of a play by the Chiefs. So I'm not saying and sugarcoating that there weren't plays that should have been made.
Yeah, the Kelsey taunting is also bullshit.
Okay, that I've never seen a player that just can. Travis Kelsey could do anything, and the rest are just like, Travis, stop. Don't.
So, again, I understand all of that. I just don't want to take away from, at least from Kansas City's perspective. We can get mad all we've won of all of this. This has been a team. They have been the most consistent team the last 5-6 years, actually, since Mahomes became
making
the
7 straight AFC championship games. You can't ride the refs completely to that, right? It's a dynasty. We can all say it. Yeah. And
well, that's a good point. Dynasties, because Damian Woody, who was a part of the Patriots dynasty, was talking about, well, what happens if the Chiefs were to win this game? And let's hear Damian's comments on this, and then we'll continue this conversation, Kev, on the other side.
Part of a dynasty, even I said in the meeting, they go out here and finish the deal, they're the greatest dynasty in the history of the NFL. Yeah. I mean, if they go out here and win a Super Bowl, they've done something even the Patriots dynasty has never done. Win 3 straight Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Think about that. In professional football, with all of these great quarterbacks, all these great teams, for a team to go out there and possibly to win 3 straight Super Bowls, it's ridiculous. It's unheard of. It's unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, it's never been done. It's never been done. And what we're seeing is, look, especially with all the moving parts in today's game, right? The salary cap and all that. It's impossible to do what they're doing, and yet they're doing it.
Everything we say about Bill Belichick, we have to say about Andy Reid. It is as well prepared, as well coached, and as well executing in situational football as a team that we've ever seen.
So that was the whole Get Up crew there talking about Damian Woody, obviously saying before putting him in the category, then Rex Ryan, Dan Orlovsky, all chiming in. Kev, the dynasty talk. And actually, if we're thinking out loud here, and I tweeted this out last night, the last decade of our lives, we've been in the presence of 2 dynasties, the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. The only teams that have won a Super Bowl outside of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, because I'll continue Brady's legacy into Tampa Bay. You're looking at the Broncos, who won Super Bowl 50, and you're looking at the Rams. And I guess, throw in the Eagles. 3 in 10 years.
And the Eagles were against Tom Brady.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was Tom Brady representing the AFC in that case. But so my point being, that means 7 of the other Super Bowls have gone to the Patriots, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are real, Kev. Like they're people can hate it, but they have a chance to etch themselves in the history books here. And Andy Reid, from his whole body of work, he truly is one of the greatest coaches we have ever seen in the sport.
Yeah, and I think, and this is an interesting conversation that I had last week with a bunch of people from Locked On, but I think that people would be less annoyed with the Chiefs if we didn't go straight from the Patriots into the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like straight up. I mean, in a league
without
that doesn't have any parity. I mean, it's been all right. Well, Tom Brady wins all these Super Bowls with the Patriots, and then there's like no break. It's like all of a sudden there's a new dynasty that forms up. They take down the Patriots, and now they run the league for the next 10 years. It's like people just want something different. It gets tired seeing the same thing, the same script. It
Not
feels
good
like
for ratings.
Yeah, we're here every year. I mean, and to your point, Brad, I've seen a lot of people who are just like, I'm not watching this year. Like, I don't care about watching the game this year because saying the same stuff over and
the
over
halftime
again.
show, you could even look forward to the halftime show. I'm not even looking forward to that.
Right. I saw Laura said earlier that, there's a game this week. Like I heard there's a Kendrick Lamar concert, but next week. But
well, how about this? This is because now you brought up the Patriots, and Brad, I'm curious your response here. People do hate greatness. In the moment, I think you're going to be more frustrated if you're not a fan. Like when I was up in Buffalo, it was so easy when you're with Bills fans and Ravens, the fun, playful banter of everyone's like, oh, hey, screw the Chiefs, right? Because
whoever wins, go beat
the Chiefs. I remember there was a documentary that was asking me these questions, and I go, I don't even feel like a public enemy number one up here because, yeah, they have a respect for everyone, but they're like, hey, as long as one of us beats the Chiefs, right? Just because that's been the narrative. And like I said, I got no problem with the Chiefs personally. It was easy to say at the tailgate and go, hey, screw the Chiefs, because that banded a group together, right? But people don't like when it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And it becomes a hatred. Like, so when the Patriots, Brad, where I lead to this, a lot of people hated New England because of Tom Brady and Belichick. Now, over time, you can sit there and go, all right, I respect that. I hated it in the moment because a lot of the Ravens had some great teams during those times.
Yeah.
Which to you is the more frustrating? When right now, I understand the heat of the moment might be the Chiefs, but do you think that the Chiefs have reached this level of hatred that the Patriots had in their heyday?
It's a great question. I think it's probably 1 and 1A at this point, because with the Patriots dynasty, there's a lot of controversy with that too. Obviously, there was the calls, but I don't think they're necessarily as magnified as they are with the Chiefs right now. But you got to remember, there was Deflategate, there was Spygate, there was like all kinds of other like things that they were doing. Tom Brady got suspended for crying out loud. But with this Chiefs team, you have a lot of guys that are full of themselves now, and they're just out like, fuck everybody. There's the 2022 draft class doesn't know how to lose because they've never experienced it before, between 2022 to now.
Yeah.
And so like you got the Travis Kelce's taunting everybody and not getting flagged for it. Like people are just sick of that shit. They just want to see them get knocked down a peg with everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, and if I can add to that, it's also the fact that, it's a smart thing to do in the heat of a game to try to flop for calls, but the flopping has gotten pretty out of control and ridiculous. Where look, Brady did it too, right? Like Brady complained to the refs. Both teams are guilty of doing that. But if you want to, Ryan, you talked about recency bias, and we saw Mahomes flail himself out of bounds and not get a call. And it just feels like, again, like I don't blame players for trying to get the yards because it happens, but seeing it on the field, it's just like either the NFL needs to do something about flopping and punish it, or try to figure something out, because when you have this just blatant thing and you're trying to get a call and then you don't get punished for trying to flop, but then a defensive player can get punished for it. That's the difference.
I just don't everybody wants to talk about Travis Kelce. Like he, two catches for 19. And then they had him on stage just and Patrick Mahomes also didn't get them there this year, in my opinion. It was Steve Spagnuolo and that defense that got them there this year. And so, but everybody wants to glorify Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that like the comparison to the Tom Brady's and stuff to this is necessarily fair in this specific season. But the hatred is growing to that, and that's why I'm saying it's like 1 and 1A, because they're a little bit different, but it's the same.
Yeah, the hatred's definitely growing for everyone out there. And again, I just want to say I don't hate the Patriots when they had that. I was very pissed off. Like in the moment, you might have hated it. Like, and that's what I'm saying as a Ravens fan, in all those moments, because it's really why you don't like those teams. Really is it's because your team that you love probably has been the victim of one of these scenarios.
If you were a Browns fan for all those dynasties,
my goodness.
what impact did that have on you over the last decade?
For sure. And then look for the Bills right now. Josh Allen now has lost 4 playoff games to the Chiefs. And I saw Dan Orlovsky talking about it, that Josh has 3 games where he hasn't turned the ball over, and quarterbacks are 140-19 in such games when the team scores, 3 touchdowns. And Josh has 3 of those losses, all to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So, like, for Bills fans, that's frustrating as hell. For Ravens fans, you had the moments against the Chiefs last year in the AFC Championship game. The Patriots, we remember those battles going up to Foxborough, and then you finally slayed the dragon there in 2012, 2013. It sits with you. So I think that's one part. One thing I want to mention with Patrick Mahomes, though, Brad, you're right. The defense was a big part of what's changed this year. And I know Travis Kelce didn't have the big game in the championship game either, but Travis Kelce is a playoff. He's going to go down as one of the best playoff players of all time.
Yeah.
The numbers, you can't lie about the numbers. And I'd say the same with Patrick Mahomes. When they needed Patrick to be the guy, he made plays. 2 touchdowns on the ground, 40 passing yards, threw for a touchdown. He did everything he had to do, and more times than not, when Patrick had to make the play, he did. But he wasn't the best player during the regular season, but he was the guy with the game on the line that continues to find a way to win the game. Regardless, he's just been that player. And even last year, was he the better player on the field when they played the Ravens in the AFC Championship game? I wouldn't say he was the better player. Was he the smarter player? And did he make that dot to Valdez-Scantling to end the Ravens season? He did. Yeah. He makes the play when you have to, and that's why he's going to go down, and he's on pace to be the greatest quarterback from a winning perspective that the NFL has ever seen. And if people don't like it, you better beat them. But so far, we're about to see a Chiefs dynasty and a team become the first 3-peat champion unless Saquon Barkley gets loose.
Have you seen the theory of the Super Bowl logo?
The colors.
Yeah, the colors. The green is on the bottom this year, which means the Eagles are winning, apparently. That's how that goes.
I will say this, and we'll talk about this as things progress, and we're supposed to be traveling, talking about this even more as we get closer to Super Bowl. But this is a matchup nightmare for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Just because Kansas City's run defense isn't it's good, but it's not good enough for Saquon Barkley. Not saying that the Chiefs aren't going to win. I'm just saying it could be a little bit more of a challenging Super Bowl than they've seen in the past.
Yeah, and lastly, I'll say one more thing about the Bills. James Cook is a dog.
Yes.
Yeah, absolute beast.
Mm-hmm. They have players there in Buffalo, by the way. And James Cook, him Supermaning through the air, I really actually thought that was a moment that James Cook was sensational. I'd argue he might have been the best player on the field.
On the Bills, yes, right. Especially on the offense.
Oh my goodness, man. Unbelievable.
And they're going to have an opportunity to retool as well because all that dead money is coming off the books.
There you go. So we'll see what happens. But to close out the NFL segment as we continue moving on, let's just check the lines for this Super Bowl. So we'll take a quick trip up to our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. That sounded good.
That was a good one.
That sounded good. But our friends at Charlestown Races up at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia, guys, first off, they're having an event on January 31st. That's this Friday from 11 to 2. ESPN Bet is now officially being put in as the sportsbook up there at Hollywood Casino. We are going to be up there doing a live show. And I think roughly around noon, we're going live. And we're going to have a chance to sit down with former Washington great Santana Moss is going to join the show to talk to us a little bit about what he's been up to. And really, I'd love to hear his thoughts on this season. But a guy that has meant a lot to the community there. We'll have our other shenanigans as we always do. But also, Hollywood Casino and ESPN Bet are allowing us to do a giveaway package. I posted on Instagram yesterday. I will post on Twitter this afternoon, this evening. And one winner, all you have to do, you have to like and follow the Ryan Ripken Show and Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. And on Twitter, hey, comment and tag somebody. And then you're entered in to win the bundle. And I actually have the bundle right here if I can pull it up. Come on, Ryan.
Under,
and whammy. You ready for that?
Boom.
There it is. So, and Brad, I can't remember the last time you softest shirt you've ever worn.
Best shirts ever.
Unbelievable. So the shirts, great quality, $25 food vouchers. You have the water container there for ESPN Bet. So we appreciate ESPN Bet and Hollywood Casino. So we'll look out for that on X this afternoon or this evening. And don't miss the opportunity. And also join the contest on Instagram too. Give yourself twice the chance to win. We appreciate our sponsor, Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Boom, baby.
Damn, like the stop. We stopped.
We've been very good.
We've been on it.
Today's been a good day. For
Virtual causes us some problems.
It
One
does.
more in person.
Virtual
we're good.
It's like
forget about it.
Yeah. It's great. The line right now, Chiefs open up as 1.5-point favorites over the Eagles, over and under at 49.5. Money line, Chiefs -125, Eagles +105. So that's what we got moving into the Super Bowl, but a lot can change as we await the game, not this Sunday, but the next Sunday down there in New Orleans. But guys, that was great. I loved it. It was fun. I think we need to switch gears for a little bit. And I know around 4 p.m., we're going to talk a little bit of polls.
Yes.
Got a poll. And then we're going to have a little bit of internet browsing history.
Oh, yeah.
But why don't we at the moment then, we'll get ready. We'll get all geared up here. There was a little bit of Orioles news, so let's go to the baseball side. There's a lot of baseball news we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Two things, actually. Like one, while the show started.
Yeah.
Orioles signed an outfielder.
Dylan Carlson, 1 year, $975,000. And if he has 200 plate appearances, he gets another $25K to bring it to $1 million. So,
hey, now.
So low risk. I think it's a guy who comes in and competes for the bench spot in the corner outfield to be that right-handed bench spot. So I think it's a low risk signing. It's not like you gave him, $6-7 million and you're like, oh, we gotta, if he comes into spring training and you don't like what you see, there's no risk to getting, putting him through waivers or anything.
No, and I mean, look, it's a depth piece. The other thing for me that I always become aware of is, are there other things going on with the team? Are there other injuries that we saw that last year, right? When spring training started and there were some other things that were happening, right? So the conversation is you always can be careful. You never can be too careful with depth. And who knows, Carlson could be a guy. Just like when Ryan O'Hearn came over, RIP cash considerations, Ryan O'Hearn ended up being a big part of the team. Mm-hmm. So this isn't a blockbuster move. Doesn't change anything with the squad.
Nope.
Just gives you context. So that's that. And then on a non-Oriole roster move, Adam Jones was just announced by the Orioles. He's going to be brought back as a special advisor to the GM and as an ambassador of the Baltimore Orioles. So welcome back, Adam. I know that's something that I've heard through the grapevine. He was excited on being back involved. And it seems like the Orioles are really trying to bring back some of their former players, which I think is great for the team. And I know a lot of the fans love to see some of their past stars or favorite players come back and join. And who knows, maybe that can be some more people involved in the future. So excited about that there. There is a lot of baseball news, though. What do we got popping up here? There it is.
The computer froze, so sorry about that. It was behind.
No, it's right there.
Little laggy lag.
It's okay. I got some thoughts here, and maybe I'll save the second portion involving Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman for the after.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first one we have to talk about, there's a pitcher that might be available.
Ooh.
And I think that's one that we didn't know was available, Kevin.
It is true.
And it's a San Diego Padre. And no, it's not Dylan Cease.
Everybody knew about that one.
How about that? Right? Yeah, everyone did. Everyone did.
This is
but
a surprise.
Did they?
Well, I guess now we have we can put a better finger on it in terms of whether the Padres are looking to deal their guys or not.
It's true. Well, the Padres, who they did acquire Michael King not too long ago in the Juan Soto trade, now it looks like, according to Ken Rosenthal, they are looking to shop Michael King. Coming off a great year for the Padres. He settled with arbitration, and now he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. So it's a 1-year rental after this year. So, guys, poses the question. People were wondering an arm that could be available because it looks like the Mariners conversations, I think that those have all simmered down. Not that it couldn't happen, but it looks like Michael King might now become the hot name that is going to be moved. Question is it going to be in Baltimore or could it be somewhere else?
I'm going to do my best Brian Windhurst impression. And
come on, Wendy.
So Michael King gets announced that he is now potentially available. He is available to be shopped. The Orioles' biggest trade asset, I would say, is a corner outfielder. On the same day that it becomes known that the Padres are willing to shop Michael King, the Orioles sign a corner outfielder. Now, why would they do that? Why would the Orioles go get another corner outfielder, like you said, Rip? Is this depth or is this preparing for something? I guess we'll find out.
You are doing the Brian Windhorst.
Yeah.
Like
now, why would they do that?
Now you just got to lean back a little bit. There it is.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you gotta just...
It makes you wonder, though. But again, you're in the same dilemma of it's a rental. What are you going to give up for a rental? And if you trade for Michael King, whatever team trades for him, you're hoping he's your guy for years to come, right? And he's in that age right now where he can cash in and make a big contract. But also you're hoping he can be a stable force for you moving forward. He's going to cost quite a bit. I think the price point for him compared to Cease is less. But nonetheless, the Padres aren't just going to move him for nothing. Now, the Padres, if we're going to go back to the tale of time here at the last trade deadline, they traded every prospect away, it felt like. Hey, you get a prospect. You get a prospect. The Marlins got a lot of prospects, even from the Orioles.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So I'm just trying to put that together. So where does that go? The Orioles do have a lot of outfield prospects. If they want that, that makes sense. I wouldn't say that the Orioles have a lot of pitching prospects to give up, nor would I give them up.
Yeah.
No.
So does it make, I don't know if this deal is going to make sense for the Orioles to get Michael King, but it sure is a fun conversation, Brad.
I think it does. I think, hear me out.
Hear you out.
A Heston Kjerstad for Michael King and another prospect lowered on the lower end of the totem pole would make sense to me. I mean, Heston Kjerstad's obviously a major bat, but is he getting playing time here if the Orioles don't make any sort of move in the season? I don't think so.
Probably
and then and so then his value then goes down if he can't perform on a part-time basis. So like I think that this would make sense if it were me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a rental. Maybe you can work out a deal. My thing is the Orioles have blundered the last several trade deadlines, notably the last two seasons. I would hate for them to kind of blunder this as well going into the 2025 season.
To be fair, the Orioles did make the gamble last year and trade for Corbin Burns.
It worked out.
And he looked great. He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now the rest of the team, a lot of injuries. And then we know what happened in the postseason. It wasn't even the pitching in that case. They just weren't able to scratch across runs, and that was it.
Yep.
Bam, over. Michael King just went from being a relief pitcher to a starter, right? Like that was the big change. He only started 9 games in 2023 with the Yankees. And in his first full season, being a starter, 30 starts last year at a 2.95 ERA. If he keeps that up, his price could actually be higher than Cease. But because you have to see, can he do it again?
Yeah.
Can he be consistent with that? There's no doubt in my mind his stuff's electric, and he's a power guy. Over 200 strikeouts, 173 innings. And then the thing that I really do love with him is that hits, 144 hits. So 173 innings, 144 hits, under a hit an inning, all good things to keep in mind. And probably the thing that's even better, 63 walks and 173 innings. So it's not that he's given a ton of free passes. So it's going to cost something.
Yes.
It's just which team is going to be willing to do it. If the Orioles, again, and I urge this, if you trade for Michael King, he has to be a Baltimore Oriole.
Yeah.
Beyond.
Yeah.
If not, you're going to be in the same situation where if the Orioles do not make a run in the postseason, we're going to be back to the same conversation of look what we gave up and look what happened. Look what's happening over there with Milwaukee and Joey Ortiz, and they got a pick. But I want to make this clear. The Orioles have done this. So for those who say they haven't, they have. But is that fair to say, Kevin, is that we're sitting here, this is what would happen. Michael King will make a team better. Michael King,
100%.
I would even say right now, if we're looking at all the options,
He's the best.
I think he's the top one that
Here-
I would want to go get.
Definitely.
Before you go, Kevin, I will just say this. The AL East has gotten a lot better this offseason.
I agree.
You can make arguments that the Orioles have gotten marginally at best better. Their roster, I'm saying, this season. And Johnny Hewitt says, what about Eflin? I mean, I guess you weren't paying attention to the rest of the deals that got done over the season, but we'll talk about that another time. But Kevin, go ahead.
No, and I think to me, the interesting conversation is, yes, like the Orioles, if there's an opportunity to add a player like Michael King, you absolutely have to go and make that deal. Now, again, it's going to depend what you give up. And I agree with you, Brad, where I would probably move on from Heston if it meant and go get a Michael
The Yankees
King.
are damn good on paper this year.
I mean, look, you get
So the
Fried
Red
over
Sox.
there, Buehler,
So the Red Sox,
and,
yes.
yeah.
I would argue, I think that the Red Sox are a more dangerous team than the
Red
Yankees.
Sox are going to be good.
I think
it just
their
plays-
upside.
Plays into my argument that something has to happen.
Well, because you've lost Corbin Burns, you've lost Anthony Santander, you've replaced those players with Tyler O'Neill and Sagano and Charlie Morton. And, to me, that is actually a worse roster on paper. Now, again, we've talked about this. It all depends on the young core. If Jackson can take a step, if Bradley can do this, if Grayson can stay healthy and be an ace, right? Those are the conversations where the Orioles can be better if the young core takes those steps that we need.
But there's been no replacement for
and-
Corbin Burns that makes you feel better. You're not going to find probably another Corbin Burns. I'm just saying there hasn't been a replacement that makes you feel better about losing Corbin Burns.
Yeah, and it goes
And
back
for
to
real fast, just for anyone wondering, Michael King is not a Scott Boras client. I had to go research.
That's the biggest.
There
Yeah,
we go.
not a Boras client.
Yeah.
So maybe if you trade for him, you can get something done before the season to take off the pressure of it being a rental.
And the one thing I saw at Austin, and I'm here, and this is what I'm saying, based off of 1 year, hard to call him an ace. The staff needs, makes you better, but not that guy for sure.
I agree.
That's the unknown with it. Only 1 year being a full-time starter in the bigs. But if you're basing off of what you saw and you believe that is you can replicate that. And he's at a age where he's got a lot of years left of his career. He's a guy that definitely can fit the mold of being a top tier type guy on your staff. And don't forget, Grayson Rodriguez, to me, Grayson will be an ace so long as he stays healthy. But that is the biggest problem for Grayson, is staying healthy enough for him to keep learning through the ebbs and flows of being in the big leagues. Because when he pitches, he had stretches last year where you're going, damn, this is it. He's the guy. Him and Corbin, phenomenal. Bradish, those top three, that trio there is best in baseball if you want to go against them when they're healthy. In this case, though, if Grayson can be there, Zach Eflin, I believe in him. I think that you add in a Michael King, of course, but is that going to be too much right now? I don't know. And the one thing is, at the end of the day, starting pitching can be underwhelming when you look at it. But these guys are fully capable of going out there and having success.
Yeah.
The other thing that we're not talking about, the young core is the big part here. Playing the game the way you need to play it. Situational execution is what's going to decide games for Baltimore.
Yeah.
The reason why they took a big step back in 24, not even saying a big step back, they made the playoffs. Yeah, they didn't win 100-plus games. It's hard to do that. By the way, 0 teams won 100 games last year in the bigs. The Orioles were unbelievably successful in one-run games in 2023. That wasn't sustainable. We'll just take that out. But situational execution, moving runners over, getting them in,
clean defense.
Clean defense. The team that executes, we just mentioned about football and turnovers, the team that makes the plays and executes more cleanly usually wins. And the one that has the 2-out hit or makes that extra play usually is the one that wins the game. Baltimore did that better in 2023 than they did in 2024. They can flip that a little bit. This Orioles team with this young team that they already have, young nucleus, they're going to be pretty damn good. But it would be nice with Michael King at the top of that as well.
Good point by Doug here. One of those big reasons I would could make the argument that when those one-run games could have been because of the lack of goal Felix Bautista. You can make that. Yeah. That's a fair argument. Another one that I said that I think that I would emphatically disagree with is Heston being less of a platoon player than Mullins and O'Neal. There's no defensive replacement for Cedric Mullins. No. Right? So that negates that argument in my opinion.
The only guy that can play center that you feel comfortable going out there is Cowser. And I love Cowser.
Me too.
Love the Moo Man. Cedric's your center fielder.
Yeah.
You need him question. Out there. And he knows how to post up. You could say, oh, he only hit 240, 250. Seti was one of the best hitters down the stretch.
Yeah.
He got through his tough moments personally, physically.
Scored in the playoffs.
Dude, the dude knows how to post up.
Yeah.
So we will see what is going to happen here. And again, you new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every Monday and Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll get back into more baseball conversations here in just a few moments, but I think we need to take a little bit of a break as we try to with the show, and good time to talk about polls with Brad and what's been going on Zach's browsing history. Fellas.
So today's poll is
this is a trippy one.
So it started off with just 2 options, and I figured I'd throw all 4 in there because I have 4 options. Would you rather, fellas, have a rewind button on your life or a pause button? And then I also added a fast forward and record. Now, not surprisingly, 80% said that they want a rewind button, but I think that's the initial knee-jerk reaction because there's perks to all of these. So rewind, of course, everybody wants to go back in time, maybe change a thing or two, maybe change your lottery number, maybe bet on a certain game that you shouldn't have bet on, one way, and so you decide to bet on the other. But the pause button to me, like being a real life Zach Morris, in my opinion, you guys don't know anything about that probably, would be awesome. I think just being able to pause and then narrate your life for a little bit and then press play again, that would be cool. Fast forward, you want to get through school, you want to get through all the bullshit.
You know what? Yeah. I didn't think of that when I thought of fast forward. I was just more like, why would I want to fast forward?
Are we only doing one? So like literally only one.
You got to pick one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's the record button, which I think also has been overlooked a little bit because let's say you forgot something, you want to record that. You're taking notes, you're doing whatever, you want to record it, you want to make sure that you have it. I think pushing the record, you have core memories that maybe you'll forget later on in life that you want to be reminded of.
Good point.
I just feel like there's certain things, some rewind's the easy one, but there's these other options have valid arguments to them.
The only one that I really, besides record, would be pause, because I feel like there's so many times where I'm like, hold up, I gotta, if I need to do something, like I'm running behind. Like, pause, hit the pause button.
Yeah.
Rewind, there's just so many things you could do, like knowing lottery numbers.
I know.
So like there are some like
that's the easy.
Exactly. I know. It's like it is one of those things where I'm like, you could take if you want to take advantage of something, I feel like it's definitely.
Yeah. I mean, my argument, I think fast forward is interesting. My argument against it would maybe be that like it just shortens your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, like fast forwarding through school or like long, boring meetings you don't want to be in. Like that's a good point. But like, I think it would honestly be a wake up call. I'm like, man, I spent a lot of time in these meetings. I spent a lot of time in school. And then all of a sudden you're down 10 years, 5 years on your life, and you can't get that back because we're only choosing one button.
But that's the same. So you just rather sit through a boring ass meeting and just waste your life away rather than fast forwarding.
Well, that's why I'd choose.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to rewind through the meeting. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah,
man, this is a much more in-depth question.
It's a little bit of a mind-bending poll today.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking of the movie Click. Like that was a very it's literally this concept of like, do you go forward, do you go backwards? Like
right.
I mean, just give me the home remote, man.
I'm
doing it all.
It is such an interesting because like the fast forward, I never really thought about like that as like fast forwarding through the bullshit. I was just more like, why would I want to fast forward through something?
Fast forward through when you're sleeping.
Yeah, I'm not saying you got to fast forward a whole year of your life.
Kevin, you already
but
do
maybe
that.
like
fast forward when you're sleeping.
I already have a fast forward button.
I was like, you just close your eyes and you wake up 7 hours later. That's already fast forward.
Fair. That's a good point.
Yeah. But you're in an argument with whoever. You're just like, I need to get out of this. Just fast forward that.
Yeah.
I'm already going to lose this argument anyway. Might as well just get it over with, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think of the record button.
if you're sick, you want to fast forward through that sickness.
Oh yeah, that'd be big.
Ryan's
Yeah.
sick,
That's another good one. Fast forward. The only one that like record, I just
I feel like there are the least amount of benefits with record, just because. Well, yeah. See, now I can't even say that anymore.
I know.
Record is interesting because I just think with the way that fast forward like gives you clear benefits, rewind and pause.
I mean, what if you get like dementia or some shit? You want to record it?
Well, yeah, then I'm definitely choosing record.
Yeah,
but I don't know, because pause is good. I've always kind of wondered about like just pausing something, going out and doing something, coming back and hitting resume, right? Like, I don't even know. People,
you got deadlines. You got deadlines you got to make. You can pause and
that's what
I'm pausing for like I'm pausing for a week. I'm saying I'm doing this on my own time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, me before a deadline, just like pause it real fast, get some shit done, then like get it all ready like a minute before.
I make my own deadlines,
right?
With that, So, are there results on the poll? Do we know what people are?
Yeah, so the results on the poll are as follows. So we got 80%, of course, say rewind because I feel like that's the easy way out. Pause is at 13%, and then the other two, fast forward and record, are at 4% out of 54.
Yeah, that's about what I would expect. I'd expect. I mean, I don't blame it. Like, I probably would take the easy way out and choose rewind because I think that is like an infinite pause button because you can go do it as many times as you want to.
Yeah.
But the issue is, I mean, you can't like pause, go out, do something, come back. You have to do it over and over and over.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you only can rewind. You can't just rewind and then fast forward.
Yeah, I guess you. Oh, yeah.
I guess it would though. It could get you out in near-death situations. Like, let's say you have a pause button versus rewind button. You you're in a heated argument. Someone pushes you off a cliff. I don't know what situation you would get yourself into with that, but here we are.
Oh, I like this. Stackhouse says,
I saw that too.
Fast forward through your terminal illness. That's the thing. It's like you fast forward until you're dead. You just, like you have that fast forward, that touchy fast forward.
Some people might.
Touchy fast forward button on.
That's where, like, though, if I need to, like, if that happens, I'm like, I'm rewinding 15 years. I was like, I'm not, I'm just going to go back.
Exactly. Well, I was saying, if you get pushed off a cliff, you have a pause button. You're just going to pause yourself in midair and just be there forever.
Just like step out. Just step out of the.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was going to say, I guess you'd have to hit pause before you got.
Yeah. If you hit pause and you're already falling off, I mean.
Yeah, I guess you
can't really do anything.
I do appreciate that some people got my Zach Morris reference. Yeah, you guys know what you guys knew that the Zach Morris reference?
No.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I know I'm older, but I'm not that old.
I'm old now.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a Saved by the Bell reference, by the way.
Okay.
That was like Zach Morris was the main character. That was his shtick. He would pause, talk about whatever problem was going on, and then step back into the scene.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that'd be a good way for you to, like, if someone makes you mad, you pause, you just like curse. Say, like, what do you do? Like, just get all your
just
anger
go
out
after
and
him.
then resume. You don't have to.
Stackhouse knows what I'm talking about.
Step out of the room.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
I'm not 18.
He just looks like
I look younger than 18.
He's closer to 18 than he is 38. We'll say that.
Yeah.
That is true. That is accurate.
Yeah.
Wow. Almost not, though.
I guess when you get away.
Yeah. We'll get there.
All right. Rip is still on his phone call, so we're gonna just move on over to what's in Zach's browsing history.
Yeah. So yesterday, I'm not sure if you guys know, but so the New York Knicks, most of their core is Eagles and Commanders fans, and it has been a pretty heated throughout the season. A lot of shit talk back and forth between them. Well, yesterday, I guess they watched the game together, and Jalen Brunson, who is an Eagles fan, made a reference that, hey, Josh Hart left before the fourth quarter even started, calling him out on Twitter, being like, hey, he knew the Commanders were done. Like, it's over. Josh, with one of the best clapbacks I've ever seen on Twitter to a teammate, responded with, have to get home so I can sleep. One of us has to play defense tomorrow. And for those who don't know, Josh Hart is probably the only player on the Knicks who plays defense. Jalen Brunson and them are not the greatest defensive assets. So I absolutely love this clapback of I had to get some sleep. One of us has to play defense tomorrow. Of course, it goes viral and everyone is like, oh, but that was I love when teammates are rooting on different sports. It's a fun time.
Yeah. This is the type of beef that like Marlon and Kyle Hamilton have every offseason, where Kyle will say something and Marlon will say something back, or Marlon will say something and Kyle will say something back. Like I love that. That's hilarious. And yeah, the Knicks are fun. They're a fun team this season. I know we had some NBA conversation earlier in the chat, so this is kind of scratching that itch for some people.
Yeah, and then my other one real fast is I just love this. Like this, if we want to talk about things that got me fired up, listening to Aaron Glenn talk in his opening press conference for the New York Jets got me fired up, and I'll give you a quick listen to that.
Put your seatbelt on. Listen, there are going to be some, but with challenge, opportunity gets opportunity. But here's what I do know: we're the freaking New York Jets. We're built for this.
I love that.
Ooh.
If you are a Jets fan,
Yeah,
that has got to get, like, after all the crap you've been through over the past, for a guy who's a former Jets player, like, so he knows the organization inside and out. He's been there. He understands. For him to go, hey, this ain't gonna be all sunshine and rainbows. Like, there is some stuff that needs to be fixed. And then he goes, but I know one thing: we're the effing New York Jets and we're built for this shit. Like, if you're a Jets fan, this is the first time in a long time I'm looking at a coach. You know, I liked Robert Saleh, but just with everything going on, this is the first time probably since before he was hired that you're like, oh, we're in the right direction.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you heard him talking after the press conference, but he was talking about him and the GM and kind of the dynamic that they're going to have, because obviously there are two new guys coming in. And he said that, you know, they're not going to agree on every decision, but that's just how it goes. You know, they're not going to agree, but they're going to have a respect for each other, that when a decision is made, you know, they're going to hear everybody out and figure things out. Because I think a common misconception is like every head coach and every GM are just on the same page and agree on every decision. It's not the case whatsoever. I just think that some teams know how to handle it and others don't. And teams that don't, you see the major dysfunction, or, you know, when the GM's not the one making the calls and it's the owner or an owner's son or whatever.
I was going to say,
whatever it may
and
be.
we just talked about how the Commanders, with, you know, the structure, no matter how many good players they had, because of that's a concern for me. If I'm the Jets, if I'm like, oh boy, if we still got Woody Johnson running the show, like, it doesn't matter that we've got this new blood in there. Like, did he play great? No, but the Jets with Aaron Rodgers and everything, on paper, that was a very talented football team.
Yeah.
And it just felt like all year, no matter what, it was just this, like RG3 referred to with Dan Snyder, this dark cloud just kind of hovering above them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like this coaching cycle, in my opinion, was not great for candidates. I mean, you know, you have a bunch of dysfunctional teams that don't have a direction. You could argue that the team with the most direction right now could be Las Vegas, because they have a clean slate. Like, obviously you have Caleb over there, and I think that Ben Johnson elevates them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting
don't you
part
just
to me,
love Pete Carroll? 73 years old, goes to a team, no quarterback,
everybody,
no clear path, just for the love of the game.
We predicted this the day it happened. I mean, we said that Pete and, well, honestly, we talked about it with Belichick too. Obviously, he went the college route instead of NFL. But like we said, all three of these guys are going to be coaching football again next year. There's no doubt about it. And then here we are. But the interesting part to me is next year's coaching cycle has the potential to be one of the greatest ever for candidates, because you could talk about the Bills have a disappointing season. What happens with McDermott? Do the Steelers finally get rid of Mike Tomlin if they have another disappointing year? Is this John Harbaugh's last year in Baltimore? Who knows what happens there? There are a couple of other teams that you could look at. You know, Mike McDaniel in Miami. What could happen with that Dolphins team? That could be an attractive opening, depending on how you feel about Tua, which I know is very mixed.
Can we all agree, though, that Russell Wilson could be the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders next year?
Okay. I wouldn't be shocked.
Like,
where are they at in the draft?
I don't think they're
7.
Yeah, like they're not. They would have to trip, because even though I don't think Cam Ward and Shedeur are the top of the line players, quarterbacks are gonna go
13. No, never mind. That was last year. 6.
They're
6.
six. Yeah, so if you're not in a spot to grab one, even if you are, I think that they'll at least bring Russell just because even if he's the backup, because I mean, why wouldn't Pete Carroll? Like that's the guy he was successful with, you know.
I don't know. The Raiders are going to suck next year no matter what.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
they need a couple of years.
I mean, how old is Pete? A couple, right? And Pete Carroll might not even be around.
Yeah, 73. Like that's why everyone's posting on the internet. They're like, dude just does it for the love of the game. There is no future anytime soon for this team, and he's just like,
they have.
You're going to hire a 73-year-old coach to do a rebuild? Get the hell out of here!
And it's not going to be it's not going to be a fast rebuild.
Brock
either.
Bowers and friends. They need to trade. They need
Absolutely
to get rid of Max Crosby.
The Raiders are the Browns of the AFC West, and it's not looking any better next year. Especially with like I love all the memes that are coming out about like all these Hall of Fame coaches. You got Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh, you got Andy Reid, and the Broncos. What the heck?
Oh, Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. They're all Hall of Fame coaches. But Pete Carroll is a few years away from a Walker.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Love the guy. He's an all-time great. But like this is not the guy you want to hire for a rebuild. It's just not.
I think his whole life is to torment Jim Harbaugh. Like he just keeps following Jim Harbaugh. No matter where Jim Harbaugh ends up, Pete Carroll's going to find his way into that division or conference.
I hope I eat my words. I hope for Raiders fans, this is going to be a great hire. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think this is a very like damage control hire.
It was a name.
Yeah. Like, I think it was very much, hey, Pete, we're going to have you as this head coach for 2 years. But like while we right the ship, build up something like just keep the culture.
What are they going to build up though? I just don't understand.
I mean, they need literally every single position.
No, that's why I'm saying
except
like,
for tight end.
I would trade, because they went first round back to back.
Absolutely. No.
And I just
that man.
And I think overall, you got to trade Max Crosby. Like any talent that you have besides Bauer, like trade,
blow it up.
Get a first or two for Max Crosby and just
hire Mike McCarthy over Pete Carroll. I would have
been.
I would have hired Mike McCarthy over Pete Carroll.
That would have been interesting. Yeah.
Right. Like that's what I would have done. I mean, Mike McCarthy turned around the Cowboys. You can say what he did, this past season, but you can kind of excuse away a lot of that stuff this past season. And even in seasons past, with the exception of last year in the playoffs, but like that's just football. But Mike McCarthy, I think, would have been a good fit for the Raiders, and he'd have been there long enough. You could have signed him to a 5-year contract, and he wouldn't be pushing 80. At the end of it.
Well, that's if they wanted a name, then it seemed like that was the route they were going anyway.
He's a Super Bowl winning coach too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing with the quarterback conversation in the draft this year is we're seeing like unprecedented stuff where like the Titans need a quarterback. But the Travis Hunter argument or Abdul Carter argument is so strong. And I think that people are either all the way in or all the way out on Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders.
Yeah.
Where we could see these two guys drop to like 3-4 if the Titans aren't sold and the Giants decide that they want just to push
Travis
it back
Hunter's going
number
one overall.
I think he has
He's
to.
the only one.
And then if that's the case, if the Raiders are at 6 and all of a sudden you see Shadur fall to 4,
you're going to trade up.
You make that move.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of other teams will try to make that move.
I would not like that for Shadur Sanders.
I agree.
I would not like that at all for him.
No, he would face literally the exact same stuff that he faced at Colorado. He would have a bad offensive line and minimal weapons outside of one guy.
Yeah, outside of one guy, right?
Yeah. So it would I don't like it. Like we said, I think it's just a damage control for 2 years. There's
Eli, I understand what Eli's saying. Look, I'm not saying that Mike McCarthy would have been like the end all be all.
He wouldn't have, but he would have been a change in the culture.
Would have been they would have gotten more wins under Mike McCarthy than they will Pete Carroll, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see. And like I said, I would love to be wrong. I just don't think that I am.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. It really is, because it's been an interesting just coaching carousel this year.
It's been hectic. It's been
lots of head scratchers.
I don't know the whole Liam Cohen situation. I just
don't.
That was
watching that unfold over like an hour was ridiculous.
Yeah, I love he's interviewing with the Jaguars, and that's like we actually weren't supposed to know that. Ignore that. Like
whoever let that out is in a world of hurt right now.
Mike Vrabel made a ton of sense but then hiring Josh McDaniels back doesn't make any sense to me. I understand he's a Patriot.
Yeah. I mean, well, that is just strictly.
But
Robert
Bill
Kraft
Belichick
being
carried
like,
Josh
yeah.
McDaniels. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I think that is Robert Kraft saying, like, because Mayo was a Kraft hire. Like,
Yeah.
that was the guy that was handpicked, and it completely backfired. Now, I don't think Mayo got a fair shake personally.
No,
but
backfired
again,
is not a good word for that.
Yeah,
Mayo was the guy that kind of took the fall.
You got scapegoated.
Backfired is not a good word for that because of the cap space that the Patriots have.
They did him wrong. But in
him.
Kraft's mind, I'm sure he's like, well, we sold this to our fans, and all of a sudden, like, he's out after a year, so we have to do we're ready to win now. And McDaniels is like this proven guy. I'm not a big McDaniels guy personally, but
I mean, I Patriots might be a 500 team next year. Might be. I just don't see.
I like Drake May.
I think Drake May's good.
I do too.
For wide receiver.
I do too. But my thing is that, like, they're going to have to make some serious changes on that roster. Maybe not defensively, but the offense.
They need to get them weapons. They
need a running back. They need an offensive line. They need wide receivers. Like, they need an entire offense, and you're not going to get that in 1 year, I don't think.
Yeah, and kind of while we're talking, just head coaches, while we're waiting for it, Todd Monken looks like he's not going to be a head coach anywhere officially.
Headline of the show, by the
way. Yeah.
We are back.
Hello.
Are we back?
Hello.
We did push. Well, that's not right. We pushed the pause button. We did do that.
Oh, we did.
I picked the pause button. Shekel. That was a joke.
Are we back?
Are we back?
I still can't.
You've just said back. We're back.
Okay. Well,
sorry, guys.
We're back.
Yeah,
baby.
they just didn't want to hear me talk about Todd Monken. The internet said Kevin's going to talk about Todd Monken. No, you're not doing that.
Yeah, where did we drop off?
Yeah.
I'm curious because we were talking about Monken. I still can't get it on my computer. But
yeah, I just got
it's on mine.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you're not connected. I have the hotspot on my phone that you're not connected to.
Well,
Zach, actually, somehow I'm.
Yeah, Zach is on it.
You're on my hotspot?
No, I'm on
the
some. Actually, maybe I'm on my hotspot.
All right, maybe I'll connect to my. You know what? Maybe I'll connect to my house.
Hey, the exorcism worked. Yeah, thank you, Laura. We are back. We were talking about Todd Monken.
Yeah. So I guess should we just pick up back there?
Yeah. So do we start over? I don't know where you guys. I don't know where we.
So the Baltimore Ravens have agreed to an extension with Todd Monken. Kevin, how are we feeling about that?
Yeah, something I've talked about before here.
Oh my God,
I like it. One, because we saw during the Joe Flacco days. I mean, there was just so much change offensively for him, and this guy's getting fired, guys, moving on to other opportunities. Continuity is such a rare thing in today's game, in my opinion. And we saw Monken come in. First of all, there was no connection for Lamar Jackson and Greg Roman. It just felt like they weren't on the same page.
Yeah.
They, I don't know if disagree is the right word, but there certainly were differences. Monken comes in and says, all right, Lamar, this is your show. You're running this thing. The confidence that Lamar has in Monken and Monken has in Lamar, that stuff also was not easy to kind of get.
Yeah.
And so you have Monken come in, the offense improves year one. And then year two, we see it become the best rushing offense and best passing offense in the league. The conversion rates get better. Third down, red zone, fourth down. Like it all gets better. And I know that the NFL is kind of moving into a young offensive minds game, head coaching wise, where everybody wants that next hot young offensive mind that is going to go in, develop their rookie quarterback or second year guy and be the guy for the next 10, 15 years. But Todd Monken, you look at this man's resume, guys. Like, this is a national champion in college. He came over from Georgia. He's had success in Cleveland and Tampa with those offenses and offenses. By the way, Cleveland was the Freddie Kitchens year, and Monken still, throughout all of that disaster, still put together a top offense in multiple different categories. He did it in Tampa as well.
Mm-hmm.
The resume is there. And to have Lamar go into year three with Todd Monken after the evolution we saw, and the big thing to me is there's not going to be a ton of turnover personnel-wise and coaching-wise, where it feels like the last few seasons, McDonald goes to Seattle, they lose a bunch of free agents. That's been the theme over the last couple of years for Baltimore. They're not going to have that this year, where they can just kind of not hit the reset button and try to build back up a little bit with their losses, but they can add on to what they already have, which I think is a big deal.
It almost feels like to me that Monken could turn into a Spagnuolo type of coach.
I hope so.
Like, Spagnuolo doesn't seem like it seems like he's very comfortable being where he's at.
Sure.
I would almost imagine that Todd Monken has that same type of mentality. Now, everybody wants to be a head coach in the NFL. Not saying that Todd Monken wouldn't take a job if he was offered one, but just feels like, hey, I'm just getting started here in Baltimore. I want to finish the job kind of mentality. I don't know Todd Monken at all, but that's just kind of that's the vibe that I got.
Yeah, and I think there is that comfort level of you are the offensive coordinator to a very successful team. You have Lamar Jackson, who, if he wins the MVP, is a 2-time MVP under your 2 years. So all the, I think Spagnuolo is a good comparison because everything is in place for Steve to he just has to be the best defensive coordinator. Like there's no pressure of, hey, if the team fails, it's on him. Like, no, that's like, it is very comfortable. He has a lot of great players. He gets to have Patrick Mahomes and them on the other side to work with. Like, I think sometimes there are just positions and these openings and jobs where you do sit back and you're like, no, that just makes sense to stay.
Yeah. Well, now the other conversation becomes for John Harbaugh. We know this is the last year of his contract and there is no extension in place to any of our knowledge. So is Todd Monken getting extended if they don't make the championship game, they have a disappointing season, they get fired? If Harbaugh moves on, goes to the front office, gets fired, whatever it may be, do they believe that Monken is the guy and they want to stay internal and they promote him to head coach? Because if they go outside the organization, and again, we're speaking hypotheticals here, this is like a year down the line.
Yeah.
But if that happens and they go external, there's no guarantee that the coach coming in wants to keep Todd Monken or keep Zach Orr or keep anybody. So to me, this is, I don't want to say they're like tipping their hand because they're not. There are still plenty of avenues they could go in that situation. But it is interesting with the timing, considering that maybe does Harbaugh get extended this offseason now? Like, is that a conversation
I think
that happens?
He does.
He's never played in a season in a contract year.
Yeah.
He's always,
The Ravens don't like the lame duck stuff where it happens that way.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Like, I'm not saying that John Harbaugh has to prove anything, but do you want, I mean, there's been multiple times throughout his tenure here that he's been on a quote unquote hot seat, especially, the Flacco's last year.
People forget 2018.
That got loud really quick.
They announced they were moving on.
They're going to trade him.
Yeah. And so then, like, you wonder if there's conversations like that being had, given the fact that just can't get over the hump. And look, Harbaugh leaves Baltimore. He's getting hired in 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Just saying, like, is there any sort of entertaining those types of conversations?
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see. I think they at least extend Harbaugh, because I don't think they'd fire him. They would trade him.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think they would get something. They're just an organization where they're like, I'm leaving here with something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they would probably get a decent amount. Like there'd be probably
Something.
bidding war,
Right.
I'd say. So, yeah.
Hi.
Oh,
Hello, guys.
And so before we move on, actually, we just had what's the best thing I've seen today. Now we're going to do something new, and it's the best thing that the viewers will see today. And just to let everyone know, no one has any clues doing this.
No.
So this is very surprising.
I can't even see what you're doing.
I would.
It's
It's not on the computer. I would like to welcome everybody to Kevin Ostreicher's birthday party.
Hey.
What?
What's
What?
happening? There's something happening.
Does he have a cat in the
I
other
am
room?
terrified.
Ollie is.
I have no idea what's happening right now.
Okay. What the hell what did I miss?
You missed us talking about being able to rewind life or fast forward life.
Okay. So is this.
And now,
Oh
holy
my.
shit. Oh my
No
God.
way.
Kevin's birthday was yesterday for those of you
Party
guys who don't-
City is closing, so there was not a lot of stuff. So this was the only cat thing we could get. But
Look at that.
And wait for it.
Is there something live in there?
No, there's nothing live.
that
We
would have
couldn't
been
do
hilarious.
that. But first off,
What?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Dude.
Other way. There it is. Yep.
A singular happy birthday plate.
Wow. Wow. look at this.
Guys, everyone, come get your glasses.
Oh,
these are
okay.
Cinco de Mayo glasses, but Fiesta means
Well,
party,
that-
so we're going with it.
No, and Banksy's birthday is Cinco de Mayo. This works.
Fiesta.
This is incredible.
Fiesta.
Hell yeah.
I can't even fit this on the hat.
And then, wait for it.
I can't see a damn thing.
Yeah,
in
this
these things.
is yours green?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're here.
Holy shit.
Cannot see a damn thing.
Zach, this is epic.
Usually, Kevin, put your computer down. Usually, when you have a birthday party, you have mini cupcakes. So this time, Kevin, if you could put your plate down. For Kevin, we are doing, put it on top of your computer so people can see. We have mini potatoes.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
We're gonna light this potato.
Oh, and it wouldn't be a part if we got to do. We have multiple potatoes in happy birthday napkins because that's what we're doing.
Are we all eating a potato?
No,
right
we're
now?
not eating these, Kevin. Okay, you just have to.
You can eat one.
I feel like I have to now.
I feel like, do I have to take a bite out of this thing? I can't keep these glasses on.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, this is giving me like
I got a potato.
I'm seeing double.
I think the internet might be back too.
Smells like dirt.
Okay, so
I haven't.
Oh, we're lighting the potato.
Oh my God, we are lighting up this potato.
Oh
It's happening.
go on.
There you go.
All right, are we singing? Are we
Happy
singing?
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kevin. Happy birthday to you.
Cha cha cha.
This is.
Well,
all
out
right, I
the
gotta make
candle.
my wish. I gotta make my wish.
And also, your biggest fan, Molly. Also, this is from her, so she says happy birthday as well.
Thank you, Molly.
So-
Thank you.
And also, just so you know, if you walk into Petco and ask where the birthday supply stuff is, they will look at you weird. I did that earlier today, and they were
Holy
like,
shit.
Wow.
birthday supply stuff, and I was like, I'm in the wrong place.
This
So,
this potato.
This is incredible. Wow. Thank you, Zach,
Let's
and thank
party.
you, Molly.
Yeah.
Let's party. Let's
Well
do it.
done, Zach.
Thank
This
you.
is happy
Absolutely
birthday, Kevin.
incredible. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Unbelievable.
Now I feel like I have to keep this on for the rest of the show. Now.
You do have to keep that
I
on.
feel like I
there.
have to eat the. I feel like I.
Zach
I'm
went through all this
obligated.
effort.
You
Yeah.
have to eat it one bite.
Okay.
Everybody knows
that's-
the rule.
That's a little crazy, but I.
Did you wash it?
Yeah, I don't know if we watched it. I would not take a bite of that.
Yeah,
That
don't.
was-
This
I had to
is
take raw.
yeah, the texture of this.
There's still dirt coming off of this.
Yeah, I was gonna
all
say,
right.
not washed.
Maybe not then. Maybe not.
How about throwing these things? Is this okay?
Mashed potatoes the old-fashioned way.
Yep.
You're gonna try to make me.
Yep, we're ready. Goodness gracious.
Wow.
Zach, well done.
Thank you, Zach.
Well
That was
done.
epic, Zach.
That was phenomenal.
It all started with I was just gonna bring a potato with a candle in it.
It just
and I was like,
spiraled.
yeah, and then I walked into Party City and shit just kept popping up.
Take a walk into Zach's mind.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah, this is better than browsing history. This is literally directly
I said it
in
was. It
Zach's
went from the
mind.
best thing I've seen today to the best thing they'll see today. So
That was something.
You were not kidding.
Yeah,
He was not kidding about that.
I was not expecting any of this. This was not planned for those
I told
two.
you, no one. I didn't tell a soul. This was
the look on Rip's face.
yeah.
When you were back, I'm like,
I was
you
terrified. I didn't know what was going
You
on.
did your little jog over there, and it was just like a little bit of a.
I didn't know if 20 people were going to walk in here. I didn't know
I
if like
honestly
it was going to be
thought-
20 cats. I don't know. What was
When
about
he
to
said
happen.
cat party, I'm like, he got a freaking cat.
Oh,
There is, and his name is. Oh, don't say
Oh
that.
yeah.
I was gonna say. Well, actually, I was gonna say, what's a different name that rhymes with Banksy? And
Uh-huh.
for some way, I went Wanksy, and that like doesn't make any sense at all.
Skanksy.
Could be
Wow.
anything. Danksy.
Danksy's good.
Danksy
Danksy's
actually would
good.
be
Yeah,
pretty
that
good.
would be bad.
Yeah. Well, no, we got another cat a couple.
And he's
months
got
ago,
5
so
legs.
Yeah.
to make up for
Exactly.
what? To make up for what?
Makes him feel better.
Yeah. And then Banksy can take a leg and it'll be
Oh,
fine.
shit. That
Exactly.
was great.
I'm still, and why the hell am I still holding this shit?
Also, the only reason that there were napkins is I couldn't find it. I've searched my home and found a singular happy birthday plate, and I was like, that'll do. That'll do.
Thank you, Laura.
Yes,
you,
and
Laura.
thank you, Laura.
Thank you. I can't see what was said, but thank
It just
you.
says happy
It's a
birthday.
Thank you.
$5. She donated $5.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up the chat because I can't see it on.
It's
I know,
a-
the,
it-
the internet's a
It's a party. Well, I just actually, the Wi-Fi should be back now.
Okay.
Oh, it should.
Should
Well,
be.
if I swap it back, then we'll have another interruption in the show.
Let's
So
let
let's-
you know, heal cinnamon. But you know what? It's a little party. Obviously, we got the Deep Eddy vodka. We got the potatoes.
Hey.
Yeah, we got the potatoes now.
Yeah, not non-edible potatoes.
I don't know, man. You throw these in the
Anything.
oven.
Yeah.
There's a microwave. You can have a baked potato in the microwave.
That is true. That is. Yeah, internet's back.
It's back. Definitely. Yeah. I actually didn't think that was going to be. I thought no strippers. I didn't think that was going to pop out. I didn't.
That would have been epic if that
That would
happened.
have been a wild.
You know,
That's one way to get Nick more into studio. Strippers.
is that
Is
what
that
it
is that what it is? That really?
No, but it would make sense.
Nick
I'm getting called out here by Brad.
getting called out? Ashley, sorry. Brad's idea there. Hey, oh goodness gracious! What happened?
I don't know.
That was phenomenal.
Can you click the camera on me? I want to see what I look like. Oh wow.
The chin strap makes the whole thing.
Yeah, this is like a perfect fit. The chin strap fits right.
Oh,
on. Like,
yeah.
this is
That
a
was definitely for
perfect-
kids.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing to say to that.
Oh yeah, there you go, Brooks. Kevin is that definitely will get Nick more
Am
into
I-
the studio. Without question.
Well, yeah.
Without question.
Now I know what I have to do for Zach's birthday.
You want to know what $5?
That's Laura's tip because she wants to see Kevin strip naked.
Yeah,
right,
I don't know
No,
about that one. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know about anything about Kevin stripping
Yeah,
naked.
I'm not,
but
I'm not sure that. Yeah,
Appreciate you.
Hey,
Thank you,
listen,
Rick. Thank you,
dancing for
Rick.
dollars is coming.
Man.
honestly, well, we know what Kevin will do for some corn dogs. What would Kevin do to have to give a nice? We're not going to say strip. He's not going to strip. He's going to keep his clothes on.
Mail review.
If you give me the Corbin Burns contract, I'll do that.
Let's show some leg.
Like some ankle might be in the conversation.
Oh my god, you've revealed more than that for no money.
Yeah, that's
socks,
very true.
With socks. With socks.
What the hell happened to this show?
I'm very glad. I'm very glad it happened. I'm very glad it happened.
I keep looking at Kevin in the screen.
I can't. I cannot take it off. I can't do it.
Zach,
Take
this
it
is-
off.
Zach,
Not
this
that.
might be single-handedly one of the best things you've done on this show.
Yeah. We're gonna look back on this. We're gonna look at Zach's jog off into the abyss back on the highlights.
Oh,
Hey,
and I was
what would Kevin's name actually be?
I also real fast.
Kevin,
I was walking.
Striker. Like, how do you? There's got to be a way that we can.
Well, my DJ name is DJ Knockout.
No,
because my initials
No,
are
that's
KJ.
not what it's going to be at all.
Can't be that.
I'm just saying.
So I had all that stuff under a sweatshirt in case like I walked in and someone's here. So I'm walking out front and Rip is across the street staring at me, walking Ollie. And I was like, shit. He starts walking. I sprinted through the building so I could get to the elevator and get up here and hide the stuff before he got in. So dedication.
I mean,
that is dedication.
That was incredible.
I was very preoccupied, so I did not see anything.
Yeah, no, I waved
out
3
there.
times and you didn't wave.
Well, I thought we're
that
going to
sounds
come
about
back. We're going to start, be talking Monken, and then we're going to dive into the other baseball stuff. But no, we're here. I'm wearing a cowboy hat and glasses.
What's your middle name, Kevin?
Raymond.
Kevin Raymond Oshstriker.
KRO.
I don't know how we get. There's got to be a good. Where's Stackhouse? Where's Stackhouse when you need him? Give me a good stripper name.
KRO could be
Stackhouse.
something, but I don't know about that.
I don't know. I almost fell out of this chair because of these glasses. It's very disorienting.
Is it dark?
It's
dark?
green.
Yeah.
Oh, it's green. Oh, it's green.
It's all green.
It's
Oh
well,
shit!
It's getting hot in here. I gotta take a button.
Oh,
off now.
Well,
damn.
maybe, yeah. Then you can be the show stripper. Then.
Yeah.
I mean,
There you go.
you got $4.
I have a punch card for ice cream.
Where?
Charmer.
Charmery.
Oh.
About to
Yeah.
say. Oh, man, the amount of ice cream I've eaten at that place. Actually,
So
every time
good.
I'd finish at
So
Fox
good.
45, I'd go by there, and then there'd be that giant mural of Calvin. I'd take a photo with it, and then I'd go get ice cream.
Nice.
I'm like, why do they have this thing? Who wants to look at this thing? But I digress. Goodness gracious. Ollie.
This is the most off the rails we've been in a while.
I'm here for it.
I am too.
Ollie's just, you can't even see him. He's shocked. Jaws on the floor.
It is.
Well, do we even, where do we go from here?
Can we recover from this?
I don't.
Every time I look over, I'm not sure.
Hey, but-
Like I start to get back on.
Thank you.
No,
I
it's
appreciate it.
no. Well, yes,
That's-
happy
yeah,
solo
yeah.
return. I thought you look at me. Joe's happy for me.
No,
Joe's
there will never be another. And I know Joe now was out to get me with that comment.
Hey, you know.
I thought he was supporting me.
This would hurt.
I really
if you
hurt.
threw
These
that
are
at me with
not
these-
soft potatoes.
Have you ever dodged a wrench?
If you threw that at me with these glasses, I think it would get me square in the
Kevin
face.
breaking his nose
You ever
with a potato.
You ever dodge a wrench? How about dodge a
Dodge
tater?
a potato.
Dodge a
Dodge
quick
a tater.
tater.
Yeah. This also
Oh.
feels like, this could be the Tony Tater's goodbye party with the potatoes here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, way to make it sad, Kevin.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Why don't we
Ruined
just
his
put
own
on
damn
James
birthday
Blunt?
party. Like,
And be like, it's like, goodbye, my lover, and we just throw taters right at you.
You say, you have 3 seconds.
You have been the one for me.
You three line up. You say to me, you have 5 seconds to run over there.
yeah, you got to run,
And
and,
then
we
you
just
start
throwing.
start-
No,
Droning.
that's what we'd have to put on some other more like anger music.
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
I'm missing you. I love you.
Kevin got
type of
tatered.
thing.
We could go on.
It's more like let hit the bodies hit the floor.
Let
And
the
Kevin,
bodies.
That was
We'll
my
go on
jam
top
when
of the
that was
roof.
my jam when I was like 7.
We'll go on top of the roof and chuck them off the roof.
no, it's got to be
Goodbye,
Me
Kevin.
off
Tony.
the roof. Or chuck those
Goodbye.
off.
We
Well,
we
you know,
chuck
hey.
we chuck the potatoes in the air, and Kevin, you have to jump.
And try to catch
That's
them.
when I need the
And
rewind
we'll
button.
put, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll put a mattress down there. You know,
Well,
You just
that
gotta make sure it
does make it better.
See, Brooks understands. You ever heard the James Blunt song? I mean, you've also heard the one
my,
before.
My go-to
You-
sad song is Marvin's Room by Drake.
Yeah.
Listen.
Okay, very different feel
I mean,
on that.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Like that's like
Very different
with
messages.
timeout.
Very different messages.
That's your song you go to.
That's the anthem. Zach will back me up. That's the sad song anthem.
Yeah, I love that song. It's a good song, but that's like who hurts you in so many ways.
Yeah.
But that's
a
but
lot
that-
of things have hurt me over the years, particularly Ravens football and
You know what else hurt me today? Kevin and Zach both hurt me today because I said that I would enjoy using the pause button and pulling like a Zach Morris.
Yeah, we didn't.
They had no idea what
No.
that meant.
Wait, sorry. I'm thinking about. I have a former teammate and friend named Zach Morris. So that's where my
You're
thought
going to
goes.
tell me you don't get it either?
Right now, I'm not because I'm thinking about a
Saved
guy
by the Bell.
and shout out Zach. Oh, that's the Zach Morris. I'm thinking about a lefty. He's about 6'5". So my team, shout out Zach Morris. Played with him and against him.
No.
Okay, Saved by the Bell. My bad.
Yeah.
My thought did not go there. So
At
I
least
would
you
have
know
got
what
it.
I'm talking.
I know
You've seen
Saved
Zach
by
Morris?
the yes.
Yeah, okay.
I understand what you're referring to, but I'm thinking about this lefty that was that tall.
Yeah, these two had
Based
no
on the Pro
idea what I
Bowl,
was
too.
talking about. No clue.
Good kid, University of Maryland guy too.
Yeah.
Zach, appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well. Do we even? I don't like. I know where there's baseball news to talk about. I don't even know how if we get back.
I mean, there's like 57 people watching.
Want to talk Pete Alonso real quick?
Oh yeah, let's do that and then wrap up.
Pita potato Lonzo.
Boo.
Kevin,
Look.
you boo one more time. We're gonna see.
Even the napkins, Party City napkins. Love it.
This bag is epic.
Let's
That's an
party.
epic. That's an epic bag.
Ollie, what do you
Save that
think
for
about-
Banksy.
Yeah.
Banksy can fit in this bag.
Yeah, it was the
Well,
only
it's a little
cat
bit
thing I
easier.
could find.
It's a little bit easier to fit in the bag when you don't have a
This
leg.
actually looks like my other kid.
I mean, Kevin could fit in that bag, honestly.
I
Yeah.
could.
You really could.
I really tried it.
Oh goodness! All right, I'm gonna take a sip, rehydrate for a second.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Time out.
Yeah, what a show.
Epic.
Is that milk? Oh, that's water too. Oh, yeah. Everyone take a
If I
hydrate.
started chugging milk, that would
Hey.
make this even worse.
Oh
Hey,
my
hey.
god!
You know what?
And I know that everybody's chugging water.
Hey,
here.
you know what? Hey, Kevin, take a break. Take a sip. Hydrate.
Hydrate.
I have no water.
Oh my god.
Hydrate.
I have no water. I will say though that Joe, with him supporting me, I know that Joe does support me, and I know that we are on the same team here because he also is boneless wing supporter, and I am the
Oh, fuck
I am the
that.
boneless wing connoisseur of the
No.
Ryan Ripken show. So that's how that goes. Joe and I are united.
Also, I'd like to take this moment to say the 100 Sweaty Days are still on. They will be back on this week, but I was also sick and couldn't barely breathe. So
Yeah.
coming back,
Everybody's getting sick.
still hacking.
Lost a lot of good men out there.
Breathing
in Buffalo.
too much. I'm still hacking.
Too much pizza.
Oh, there's too much of a lot of things, Kevin.
Yeah.
A lot of things. Lost a lot of good men up there. And the Ravens lost the game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take one more sip.
Tough scenes. That was beautiful.
Great. Also, yes. You know what? Deep eddy breaks. Yes, you need to hydrate when you had it. And if I'd hydrated a little bit more, I might have felt better coming
Yeah, you
back.
sure it's water in that bottle?
This is actually water. So I don't know if you know about Circle yet. They have these filters. Like you just put it back in. And literally you just pour water into the container and you can choose the level of intensity for it. It's like hydration, electrolytes.
The flavor.
The flavor.
Yeah.
So it's actually phenomenal, Kevin. If you act
Interesting. Okay.
nicer,
Kind of crazy.
maybe you need to hydrate.
You'll get me a Circle bottle to hydrate. I was just directly staring in my soul while drinking.
That's actually
Every time he cuts back to Kevin, I lose it. A little bit. Like,
Listen, I am on point with the production today.
Yeah. What is harder? Well, I think the toucan mask we had a guest on.
you say what is
We had Nick.
okay.
was on.
Time out. What do you think? Why? Well,
What is
what is
to
harder?
speak to me while I am wearing the toucan mask, the banana
got it.
hat, or the Zach Kevin birthday party
Banana.
extravaganza?
Banana hat.
Banana
By
hat?
the
far.
banana
Yeah.
hat was a tough one to look at.
Yeah.
Because every
Yeah.
time, like you talking as a banana, I was just like, what the hell? And who'd we have?
Talk about
It
harder.
was,
That was,
it was
Drew
the, it was
Storm.
the It was Drew Storm. It was
Yeah,
Drew
Drew
Storm.
Storm was on because we were like, Drew, we're so sorry.
We're so sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this banana?
it was the week. It was the week before Halloween.
Why is this
You had
banana
to-
so happy to see me?
Oh,
No, that's just
oh.
Kevin's eager face. So
Wow.
he's
20
a good
bucks.
kid.
20 bucks is 20 bucks.
Yeah. $4. Kevin, you should go watch Beer Fest too.
What's who was the guest when we had Toucan? Was that Q? I think
It was cute. Nick was on as well. I
Yeah.
think.
Somebody else joined too.
Yeah.
Like someone that actually
won't be back.
I might not be. I don't know. Why the hell am I holding this potato? Okay, Pete Alonso. That's a small tater.
Yeah.
A small tater. Kevin. Oh, Joe, almost ready.
I brought the hands
One's
down. I was
one's
ready.
coming
I was
at you
ready.
this show before we end. All right, let's talk Pete Alonso for a moment here. And 65 people are tuning in live at this moment. If
Watching
you're new to the
this
channel,
fucking train wreck.
well, no, that's just on the YouTube side.
I know.
So on X, where we have a bigger following, that's terrifying. But yes, appreciate you guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. Should we talk a little bit of baseball here?
Yeah.
We had our hydration break.
Hey,
I
let's talk
think
some
moving
baseball.
in the future, though, I think next time when I say we need a hydration break, you bring your water bottle
All right.
and we take a moment, take a sip.
Whoever can
And that's
slurp
what
it
we
the
do.
loudest. Yeah.
I'm gonna fight this kid.
Hey, it's my birthday.
I keep looking down.
It's my.
I gotta
it
say, I
is
think
my
part of the
birthday.
funniness is that it's my birthday hat with just a blatant Cinco de Mayo fiesta. Like it is just not matching the vibe at all.
Yeah. Well, right. It still means celebrate. It's still
Yeah,
celebrating.
it still
We're
makes
still
party.
celebrating.
You know.
I'm ready. I've been ready to talk baseball. I've been
Baseball, Pete Alonso. All right. We'll close this out. Sorry, no call-ins now for the shenanigans. I apologize.
Worth it.
Yeah.
waiting. Very.
So, Joe, you got a problem, you take it up with Kevin. But take it up with Kevin.
Okay.
Apparently, though, talking baseball here with the Pete Alonso, take it up with Steve Cohen specifically. Steve Cohen, the owner of the New York Mets. They were talking, I think it was like a fireside chat type of ordeal. And obviously, Pete Alonso is not signed yet. And people were saying it could be the Blue Jays or why not the Mets? And it looks like the logical place was the Mets. And there was an offer out there by the Mets that they wanted an answer for. And I guess they weren't able to come to terms yet. But I want you to play the clip, Brad, here in a moment. If we can re-upload it, or Zach, if you can put it up. Steve Cohen was kind of the conversation about Pete Alonso got brought back up. And Steve Cohen made it very clear that he thought this was actually a tougher ordeal than signing Juan Soto. So let's play that clip for you guys.
All right. All right, so guys, let's hold that for the end, okay? We've made a significant offer to Pete, you know what Davis says correct. He's entitled to go out and explore his market, and that's what he's doing. Personally, this has been an exhausting conversation and negotiation. I mean, Soto was tough. This is worse. Okay? A lot of it is, you know, we've made a significant. I don't like the structures that are being presented back to us. I think it's highly asymmetric against us, and I feel strongly about it. And so, you know, I will never say no. You know, there's always the possibility. But the reality is, you know, we're moving forward, and you know, we continue to bring in players. As we continue to, you know, bring in players, the reality is, you know, it becomes harder to fit Pete into a, you know, what is a very expensive, you know, group of players that we already have, and that's where we are. And I'm being brutally honest. I don't like the negotiations. I don't like what's been presented to us. You know, listen, maybe that changes, and certainly, you know, I'll always stay flexible. If it stays this way, you know, I think we're going to have to get used to the fact that, you know, we may have to go forward and with the existing players that we have.
So it went from everyone chanting for Pete, and then Steve just being like, "Yeah, I offered him a pretty good deal, and this is exhausting. I'm over it."
I'm curious as to what the structure that he doesn't like is all about.
Especially since they spent about $1 billion
on Juan Soto.
Ryan, just from
on everybody.
From a player's perspective, you know, somebody who's been inside the game, how's Pete feel about that? Like, this seems like such a bold, like, if I'm the Blue Jays, I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you just publicly insulted him saying, hey, we don't like this. This is exhausting. I'm not having fun. And then to end it with, hey, if nothing changes, we are perfectly capable and okay with moving on without him. That's just, if I'm Pete Alonso, I'm like, well, okay.
Yep.
If you think you're okay without me, Why don't I go to Toronto?
Right.
Why don't I see what else is out there?
Well, it's because he doesn't want to go somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
that's in my mind. Pete wants to be in New York. He just wants them to pay up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in a position right now, Zach, where it's a good conversation. First off, I'll answer to your question. Yeah, when you're the owner of the team calls out a player, your first reaction is that you're pissed off. I mean, I think that's not even to be a player. I think anybody, if you heard your boss and say something publicly, you're probably not happy. You're probably thinking some thoughts you might not want to say out loud. Or if you are, you might say it to your close family and friends and let things simmer down. So Pete Alonso's got to decide here. Is he like, hey, I'm burning this bridge, we're done? Because Steve Cohen definitely is fine with doing that right now. He's saying, I've reached my end of the rope with you in this conversation, and we have a really good team with or without you. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you're going, Kevin. Sorry.
No. I mean, I was just going to say that with this whole situation, I mean, the Mets, I agree, they're going to have a good team with or without Pete Alonso, but it sends an interesting message. And I think that players pay attention to this stuff, not just Pete Alonso, but like how this whole situation is going down. And I feel like when you talk about maybe, teams are going to sign with the Mets, I don't think this is going to impact their ability, but in terms of like a culture perspective, like Pete's been there for feels like ever now. And it's like, if you just kind of toss a guy like that to the curb, essentially, and look, it's a two-way negotiation. Pete has his number, the Mets have their number, but I agree with Zach. If there's an opposing team that's in these sweepstakes, I'm just like, hey, we're not going to treat you like this. Come on over here. Like this is a big negotiation card for a lot of these teams.
And I want to finish with that part. I am shocked. I shouldn't say I'm not shocked that Steve Cohen did this because he's proving that he's going to do what he wants to do.
Yep.
But when you do make this public, you are opening up a lot of criticism and you're opening up a whole different can of negotiation. And I'm telling you what, the whole Alonso camp, they're going to be pissed off about this. And if Pete Alonso does go somewhere else, he's going to mark down the calendar when he plays the Mets. And for a player that has given everything to the organization, that's where he's going to be the most upset. The first thing is he was upset that you're not giving him what he wants. You don't think you're valuing him for what he believes he brings to your team. Secondly, he's been with this organization. Now, we don't know if they're saying, hey, Pete's being too greedy. We can't sit here and say that. I don't know the details of what's been offered or what hasn't been. But you never like when any of the laundry gets aired out to the public. So that is the biggest part right there. But then the decision's going to have to be, Pete, do you want to take less and come back and be a part of the Mets? And can you move past this now? Can you move past this? If not, it's time to take your talents elsewhere, probably take a little bit less than what you want and go out and accomplish that. But only we know what Pete wants. And I think we're going to have to figure this out soon. Guys, spring training's in 2 weeks.
I was just about to say, Pete Alonso, I don't know what he's asking for. I would imagine it's probably more than this player that I'm about to mention to you. So here's Pete Alonso's stats last year and his career. Stats last year, batting average is 240, home runs 34, on base percentage 329, OPS is 788. Okay. This other player that I just mentioned, that I'm mystery player, has OPS of 814 last year, 44 home runs, batting average of 235. His career is 246. Pete Alonso's career is 249, and that player got a 3-year deal at $18 million a year in Toronto. That is none other than Anthony Santander. So my guess is Pete Alonso's asking for a lot more than what Anthony Santander got in Toronto. And if he is, then I would not be surprised as to why Steve Cohen is saying no deal.
It's the market. And that's a part. The initial thought is they wanted $30 million a year, 3 years, $90 million.
And so if Anthony Santander is taking that kind of deal,
he's taking 5 for 90.
And it's almost the stats on their careers are almost identical.
And the bigger part, if he goes to Toronto, that
also they're both 30 years old.
And I think Pete's a great power hitter. I think so. Same thing with Tony Taters. That would be a very interesting dynamic of Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
Tony Taters, Pete Alonso. Offensively, Bo Bichette. But defensively, I don't know where it all fits. You're going to have to make Vlad Guerrero Jr. then all-time DH or Pete Alonso, whatever it is. But to your point, Brad, there it is. The market is setting it. And Steve Cohen has proved that he's not afraid to pay guys. He's not afraid to go out and get guys. But it seems like when he reaches his limit, he's not afraid to say no. And it looks like he's firm on that. I don't think they make a higher offer. So now ball's in Pete's court. But wherever it is, it's got to be decided soon. And quite frankly, with Pete to finish that conversation, he's going to help a team, but they're still trying to figure out the reason why he wants more is because the worry is how long are you going to get this success or, I guess, ability from Pete? Because they're not expecting him, at least as a player, he's going to have to probably be less versatile moving forward.
Yeah.
And that ruins the value. It's the same thing with Santander when they were evaluating, but Tony's proven he's a solid outfielder. If he does slow down, you could move him to first. You can't put Pete in the outfield. So that's where you're looking at it there. So we'll see. We got 2 weeks left. He's a premier player that doesn't sign. The other premier player that I still can't believe is Alex Bregman. At that one, I can believe it, but that is the one player that I think that any team is waiting on. Now you guys seeing these reports that the Astros or Jose Altuve, they're saying, would be willing to move to the outfield to make room for Bregman to come back, move Paredes over possibly. And then Brian Windhurst here, Ryan Presley, was their closer on their team at one point until Josh Hader came, just accepted a trade to the Cubs.
To lose salary.
So is all this going to be so Alex Bregman goes back to Houston? And if he goes back to Houston, I still really like him. I think that this team is a contender in a wide open American League. He's the one guy that can tip the scales. I know Detroit, there's been a standstill. I know there was talks with him with the Mets at one point too.
Even the Red Sox.
And the Red Sox. I think if you're the Mets, I'm paying Bregman over I'm paying Alonso.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Holy hell, guys.
Steve Cohen also said he's not done with his lineup. He's not happy with the lineup. So
it's a good point.
Mets aren't done.
There. But if the Astros do bring back Bregman and they have Bregman, Altuve, and then you're looking at, you got Paredes,
Alvarez,
you have Alvarez still there. You have a really good pitching staff that still people aren't really talking about.
Yeah.
Houston's going to have the ability to win another division title. I like Texas. I do like Texas. I think Oak or Sacramento is better.
Whoever they are.
But the Houston Astros are once again going to be a team to be reckoned with if Alex Bregman goes back. And please do not talk to me about that batting average and putting the ball play is devalued. It matters. And when you have a guy like Bregman that can hit for some power and play a good defensive third base, and then also he's a tough out, and you line up. He immediately makes you a contending team.
Yep.
In my opinion, with the pieces. If he goes to Houston, Boston, Mets, whoever gets Alex Bregman, their chances to win significantly increases. That's all I got on that, guys. But that is one story I am still trying to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
I watched this guy when he was in high school. He was my same draft class. He was always more evolved, always really sound. Then goes to LSU. You saw what he was at LSU. And all he does is put together good season after good season, competitor, knows how to win. You can hate the Astros. And the funny thing is, a lot of people still I'm not forgiving the Astros or Bregman being on that team. I guarantee you that dude comes to your team, you're screaming from the rooftops. You're throwing cat birthday parties, Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You might be throwing 2 or 3.
Multiple.
It's a fiesta up in here then. If you sign Alex Bregman. But I'll say this, he ends up in the American League East, and you mentioned about teams getting better. Boston, to me, becomes the favorite in the AL East by far if Bregman goes. But if Houston retains him, don't sleep on that Houston Astros team. They are not going away if Alex Bregman comes back. So, guys, new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. This has been an eventful show, to say the least. We do this live.
I really hope
5 p.m. Eastern time.
I hope Alonso video just takes off because I just want it to switch over to the camera and people are like, why the hell is he wearing that?
Yeah.
Well, now it has to.
Yeah.
Why is he wearing that earpiece? So ridiculous.
No,
do not blame it.
Don't blame it.
Yeah, this earpiece just
Don't know how to wear it. That's what it comes down to.
some things never change.
Nope.
No, it doesn't. And I will say, well, it's a whole different discussion here, but I'll leave that for a different day. I don't know why. The excitement, I'm bleeding over here.
Oh, Jesus.
Good thing I have a napkin.
Wow.
Jeez.
The excitement. I might have.
Just picking scabs.
I guess I was. Lost a lot of good men out there in Buffalo.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Hit the
Okay.
music.
Well, guys, appreciate each and every one of you. Hit that. Bum. We have the music on now for the first time in a while. For all of you at the Ryan Ripken Show, tune in, I should say. We appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night, have a great stinking weekend, and we will see you. And that's not the weekend. I'm so all over the place. See you Thursday for a brand new edition. And Kevin, think fast. You actually caught that thing.
One-hander.
This show is full of surprises today. Appreciate you guys. See you next